Hello everybody, how we all doing? We are back with another episode of Tabletalk Tuesdays. Joining me this evening is my wonderful other half in streaming crime, the lovely Cass.
Sablin fuckers, how we doing?
We'll have a few more people on it at some point, probably. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we just thought we would come in and chat about the last two episodes. Because we obviously weren't here last week, so we're gonna do another thing where we're talking about two episodes again. So
Yep.
how are you doing, Cass?
I'm tired, my man. I've got a long week ahead. I know, but like my neck's sore. But like apart from that, like emotionally, I'm fine, which is something I didn't think I'd ever say. But like, I genuinely am doing pretty well. Apart from the physical side of things, where I'm feeling a bit run down. How about yourself, Eli? What's the vibe?
Vibe's all right. I really enjoyed the session on Sunday. We just had such a laugh. It was just it was just a meme session, which like I think sometimes you need that to like just break it up a little, and you're not like having to do like 10D chess with your storyline.
We had so if we put it, we had session 0, which was like the intro session.
Yeah, which
Then
we
we
didn't
had
stream.
we didn't stream, but like we can tell you the details of. We were at a train station and we fought some mimics that were like luggage.
Yeah,
That's about the long and short of it. Kyler got a sick burn off, which I'm annoyed wasn't streamed, but it was pretty sick.
yeah,
And then we had the what do you call it session where we like approached the school.
yeah. That was session one.
We had session 1, session 2. We had the battle session,
Yeah,
which was a dungeon crawl. Then we had like a quite RP heavy session.
yeah.
And then
That
we
was
had a
the
meme session.
that was the tavern session, not Sunday just passed, but Sunday before. And then like Sunday just passed, it was just a pure meme session. We were literally like went to two shops and memed for like fucking 3 hours. It was good times. It was good times. I really enjoyed it.
I hope no one's like, oh, I wish you would pace it a bit quicker. I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's going to happen when it happens, my G.
It'll go at its own pace. That's it's one of those things where like we'll get like parts of it will go like just slow burn, and then other times I would imagine things could happen pretty quickly.
I'm enjoying playing a character who doesn't really have a major agenda. Well, oh, sorry, doesn't have an immediate agenda. I think major agenda is the wrong word, because he does have like life goals and stuff, but there's nothing like
My brother and Jesus crustacean, you're
my
literally
brother
a
Jesus
crusader.
Crustacean. Yeah, literally, like that's like a lifelong thing, but there's no like I must save my family thing going on. Like there's no I must get revenge for my family. I also like, I think this is the first character I've played that isn't an orphan. Uh for instance, spice to the backstory, just kill your fucking parents. Uh it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been enjoyable. I love Kyler so much. I think he's just like so interesting and just so out of fucking pocket. It's like it's like it's like he's in an isekai and he's not actually. That's literally what it's like. It's like he's in an isekai and he starts making these references to, or like has these mannerisms that no one around him fucking understands, and is
Well,
like,
yeah, I like that. I like that, playing that, because like he does come from a very different culture
yeah,
to pretty much anyone who can't breathe underwater will have never lived there. So like, because like I've discussed a lot of the backstory stuff with Mux, and like I don't want to break any lore, but like I was like, I don't want to break any of your like established lore or anything. So what I'm gonna do is I just want you to let me, whatever happens under the ocean, we kind of talk about. And he's like, yeah, no worry. Sorry, they were like, yeah, fucking go nuts. And I was like, great. Frat boy, legacy frat boy, Jesus freak. Which I didn't
but
think
for
I'd have fun
Cthulhu.
playing. for Cthulhu, like I didn't think I'd have fun playing that. But
It's such a good concept. It's such a good concept. Like, oh, there's so many things about it that I love because, like, I don't know if this is how you actually have like this done, but I have this headcanon that like other Tritons even find Kyler a bit weird because
they find him a bit much. I don't know if they find him weird. They find him like, he's a
yeah,
all right, man, simmer down.
Yeah,
Simmer.
yeah, exactly. It's not he's not like all Tritons because like again, I'd imagine not all Tritons worship the deep one either. So it's like
They don't. They worship like Poseidon. Poseidon exists.
Do you know
Poseidon
what he is?
exists.
Do you know what he actually is?
Go on.
He's the guy in the People Make Glasgow video. That's what he is.
That's what the voice is, isn't it? Oh my god, here I am in sunny Abilene. And people make Abilene.
That's literally what he is.
They're actually speaking Draconic, which is like the language that they use to communicate with like their tribes.
That's literally what he is, and it's so funny. It's the pennies just dropped that he's like fucking what's the guy's name in it? It's not Ladies Man 217. It's
Travel Junkie 88.
Kyler is Travel Junkie 88.
He is.
Because like I feel like that like other Tritons and other like people and other races that live underwater like the UNT and whoever else
would the water genasi and stuff,
yeah, the water genasi view Kyler like we actually view California surfer dudes or view Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, like he is of the I don't want to say ruling, well, like yeah, like the sort of upper class. So that immediately kind of alienates him. He's part of an upper class religious like theocracy underwater. It is a lot of fun.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like you've got so much to play with as well because you can just say something completely out of pocket and it's still in character.
It's
like
still absolutely in character.
Like I don't think there's anything that you could do that would be out of character because with Kyler you just don't know what to expect. He's just this like he's an enigma. He's an absolute fucking enigma. And it like I struggle so hard not to laugh every time he opens his mouth because it's just perfect. It's just perfect and it's like it brings this extra dimension to it and changes the entire tone and dynamic of the entire campaign in the best way possible.
Thank you, mate.
So I don't mind saying that like obviously Drazian is he has his humorous points, but he's a serious enough character.
He's quite a straight man compared to Kronk and Kyler. Certainly.
Yeah,
he has a dry wit about him. He's not dull, but like he is quite wry. I think in his humor. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And like obviously you have Lilith, who is like very buy me a drink,
sardonic. She's very and then
and like Geraldine, who's very like. He has the same horny energy, but is more of I want to make friends, and insert my people in my nose in other people's business. So there's like an element of like these core like three like serious to an extent characters, and like even Kronk to an extent. How like he's very motivated about like being a wrestler and being this fighter. But Kyler's just like
straight vibes.
He's just completely off the rails. It's literally like he's in an isekai, and I love it. I think it's so fucking genius. It adds this element to the campaign that makes the whole fucking campaign so tonally brilliant. Because it's not, and like we said this on the last Tabletalk, so it's not we're going to save the world thing from Ancient Evil, because like Mux was saying, that gets boring after a little bit. This is like a couple of fucking idiots in Adventure School University, and it's just so funny because Kyler adds this dimension where we're like, I'm taken back to this. Yeah, we don't have to take ourselves too seriously, and sometimes I struggle not to take myself too seriously in my D&D characters, because I create a character and I'm so character driven by their storyline and by their motives. But sometimes you need those moments where you can just like take a step back and be fucking stupid in a D&D campaign, and Kyler embodies that so well and makes the whole experience so fucking enjoyable, and it's really easy to bounce off him as well. Like,
yeah, there's if something's like dipping for a minute, I don't want to try and overpower things, but like if something's dipping for a minute, I'm like, Kyler wouldn't want to be in silence. He would ask something on his mind. There's something like a childless about him.
Yeah.
Where like he says things that are insensitive, but they're not insulting. They're just like, you know, like when you're out with a kid and like they like point at someone and go, "Why don't you have an arm?" And you go, "Fuck, no, like you can't say that." And then they're like, "Oh, I was born without one, kid." And they go, "Oh, I didn't know that." Like that's kind of his approach. And like no one's really offended.
Yeah.
Like it's just sort of.
I think everyone like kind of cringes a bit, but
yeah,
not in an inherently bad way. It's more of a like, oh, it's this fucking guy. It's it's your idiot baby brother that you're like have to make sure he doesn't get into trouble, and I love it so much.
There was yeah, it is fun to just like, the thing is like, I get what you say about being character driven, because like I kind of approached it in a similar way but in reverse. I was like, what does the group kind of need? And not from a mechanical perspective, because Mux is like healer and I was like, fuck off. But from like a character, like in a drama perspective, I was like, well, yeah, we are students, and who do you have at uni? And so, like, they did go through the 3 iterations of the Oath of the Common Man Paladin, who I felt the comedy would be that he was taking himself so seriously, but then the danger was that was then indulged, or that people didn't read that it was like parody. And then it was like Eco Warrior, and then I kind of folded that into a complete Cthulhu freak.
Yeah. It's like Mux was just saying in chat there. Kyler's definitely the foreign exchange student who has no wall of culture shock, which is like absolutely fucking spot on. He's just a fucking enigma. He's literally in a fucking isekai, and I love it so much. It's just like. It's so nice to bounce off as well. Like, obviously there was that in like the last session. For those of you watching who have not caught up yet, do. It will be going up on YouTube very soon. Episodes 1 through 3 are already up. Episode 4 I'm gonna upload tonight. But in episode 4 it was just very interesting. Like that interaction in the weapon shop, where like Drazian's done this whole thing about like wanting like the steel in this very obviously sentimental sword reinforced, and is like wants it magically enchanted, and like he mentions that it's Avum steel, and there's like story threads off that like I know Geraldine noticed, and I think Lilith noticed it as well. And then like as soon as he puts it down, Kyler just comes up with like, "Hey, do you want one of my tridents? You can't go without a weapon.
You can't go with a weapon." And like the thing is, I've been in my off time looking at like how scripture is written and stuff, and like the kind of language they use, and then just kind of repurposing that to be about a giant fish god, which has been fucking sacrilegious, but funny as fuck.
Oh, it's so funny.
So I was like, oh, what are like, what? It's like working backwards. Like, what screwed up things does he believe to make him this screwed up, but still fundamentally a good person? It's like, oh, you should always carry a weapon. because that way you're able to step in and defend people like the good swordfish. Like, and like that comes from like the Good Samaritan and stuff, like from like Abrahamic religion.
Yeah, but that played in so well for me. This is what I mean about he's so easy to bounce off. For me to have the moment where like Drazian just pulls out 2 daggers and was like, "It's okay, I'm covered."
So it's like, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
I just think like I know we spent like the past like fucking 20 minutes basically talking about Kyler, but I just think he's so good.
Sorry. Yeah.
No. This is good. This is like one of the advantages of it right now, just being like me and you here, because that like I'm able to like go into a bit of an exposition about Kyler and like your like whole conceptual like creation of him and like just where you're coming from and a lot of stuff with him, and I just think he's so interesting and he's just so funny. It's so entertaining. I think he makes the stream so much more entertaining. He adds this extra dimension that's just so good.
I'm glad, because that was my main thing, was like I wanted to come in with a character who didn't derail and didn't overpower, but definitely provided a bit of comic relief. Because to me, like the things that make me like cry the most are things that are usually funny. So like Blackadder Goes Forth, for instance, is a comedy the whole way through, and then it ends with like how Blackadder Goes Forth ends, which is them going over the top in the trenches, and then it's just and that kind of gut punch, which I think will be fun to play with. And that was kind of my thing going in, and I was like, right, I know Eli. I know what Eli's like as a D&D player. I know what Eli's like as a writer. I know what Eli's like as a person. So we're gonna get someone who's like, you know, a bit of a smart arse, cool weaponry, like pretty, generally badass design. Okay, so I need to counterbalance that. Where do the rest of the group lie so I can decide how heavily I counterbalance that?
Yeah.
And to complement it, not to like utterly create a clashing tone. And that's kind of why I spent so long just talking concept with Mux. And like Mux will probably tell you, like we were literally just going through like telling jokes and like being like, all right, imagine like this shit, and like, oh, what if it was like this? And it's like, and just imagining these like scenarios that's kind of like in the backstory, and not even like big things like when I was 14 I killed my first man, but like what if like one time someone just like offered him a joint and he like was like, oh sorry, I don't smoke, and they went, okay, would you like a brownie instead? And he was like, yeah, that's fine, and got fucking blitzed. Like we've got a question from Mux. Would you like me to ask you it, Eli?
Yes, go for it.
If you could choose your character's death circumstance, what would it be? Which is a very loaded DM question, but go ahead.
I'm reluctant to answer this for 2 reasons. One, the answer is very intertwined into Drazian's backstory, which I don't want to reveal too much of. And 2, I don't want Mux to use this against me and actually fucking do this, because, like, I'll be honest, like, I would much prefer if we went through, like, I think in some campaigns there's a place for character death, and, like, when, like, a character gets towards the end of their tether, if you feel like the time is right, it can feel nice, it can feel almost cathartic. Drazian for me isn't that kind of character. I would be distraught if Drazian died. Which is why like I'm investing so much in like equipping him with shit that will make him not die. So it's like it's one of those. If I had to choose a thing for him to die, which I very much do not want, and Mux, I will be very upset with you if you purposefully put this in. It would basically be him fighting a certain war, or in defense of his homeland. That's all I'm gonna say in relation to it, because there's a lot of layers to that, which I want people to be able to see. It's more of a show don't tell thing that I want to do throughout the course of the campaign. About
Is there? Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say it's early days yet, so I haven't really thought about this. But I think you can never go
Drazian, the
to.
Irish Republican.
You can't spell Drazian without Ra. I don't know what to tell
It's
you.
true. It's true.
Can't spell dragon without Ra for that matter. Triton, Tri-RA. Uh, it's early days, and I haven't really thought about where does Kyler end up. Because he's such a youthful character, it's kind of hard for me to be like, imagine him dead. But I mean, you can't go far wrong with like if you stick with like the isekai thing or like the anime thing of like a one-off power up that's like really fucking badass, but means that like that's it. Like you die after that, like a Baryon mode in Naruto or something.
Fucking Donald Duck Zeta Flare in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Exactly, like
but
like
actually stays dead. Yeah,
like a limit break thing. I think a limit break could be cool. Like a badass moment.
See, like I'm also, this is like something that I've actually thought about a little bit. If Kyler died, I think it would break the party's hearts more than any other character dying. Because that would be the this got real moment. That would absolutely be the this got real moment. Like
I don't think he's most likely to die. I'm gonna be real with you.
I don't think he's most likely to die. I think, no, what I'm saying is it's the most likely to absolutely shatter the fucking party.
Shatter people's hearts. Yeah.
If he does die.
I suppose that leads on to another question. If you know we can't fudge our way out of things. Hello, cat darling.
Hello, my love.
If we can't fudge our way out of things and it's a meaningful moment and stuff, and you come to the end of your character's story, be that character retires or dies or whatever, who would you then most like to play? Like, what kind of... Imagine, like, the other 4 people are still as they are. So, like, Kyler, Kronk, Lilith, Drazian, and... Geraldine. And...
Damn.
Wow.
And when you know that was absolutely intentional, by the way.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
No, it was.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
That's how I shitpost. Kyler, Kronk, Lilith, Drazian, and...
Shut the fuck up.
Jerry. Are also like
Jerry
the other Jerry Adams.
GB.
So the other 4 are the same. What character would you most like to kind of try next? Preferably a healer. It doesn't have to be.
See, I have like a lot of like characters prep that would be like essentially ready to go. It's a tough one because my go-to is Drac, who's my elf X-Blade warlock, because like it's a character I just love playing and it's so much fun to play. It would be interesting, but it's also about like a character fitting into the world as well. I think Dren would probably most easily fit into the world because he's Drazian's mentor and he's already canonically in this world. And I think like if Drazian did die, this whole like old haggard dragonborn, very old man Logan, bent on revenge, very John Wick-esque would be a cool concept to do. And like Dren, I think, would bring a lot of leadership to the group. But he's also completely fucking unhinged because he is a lawful evil paladin.
Oh, that is pretty fucking unhinged, yeah.
Yikes.
Is he Oath of the Common Man? Is he Stalin? Like, is he lawful evil paladin of the common man?
Well, he's lawful evil because of perceptions about the god that he believes in. That is a perception-based thing. So it's more so. So he was betrayed. Him and his like company his battalion was betrayed, that he was in charge of was betrayed, and most of them got wiped out, and he went a bit unhinged and basically went after the people that caused that, and was not kind in his dispatching of those perpetrators. So he's
Interesting.
insanely powerful.
That bodes well.
Yeah. I had originally had Dren as like an Oathbreaker paladin, but I kind of want to create like a new homebrew for him, because I
A
want
what paladin?
an Oathbreaker.
I don't know, hardly know her.
Fuck's sake. But like,
Why are you both like this?
you've spent enough time with us at this point. You should know this.
I mean, just because I expect it doesn't.
I mean, you
No.
condone it?
Yeah, exactly.
But you
That's
do
it.
condone it. You love it. You do love
You love it, really?
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the most.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Who do you think the leader of the group is, or will like sort of turn into?
It's pretty democratic at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be a leader. I think we will continue to receive like missions from like the uni. Like this is my belief. Like when I went to uni, if someone tried to declare themselves leader of a project or a play or a scene or a composition, we thought they were cunts and didn't want to do anything with them.
Facts.
I
So
don't
anyone-
think it's much of like a declaration as a more of like in certain moments, like who would be the most likely to take.
Yeah, like who do
inspiring
people
leadership.
look to like
depends on-
decide?
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I think like that is like how, you know, groups generally work, because if there's a leader, to me that means you're either like a military outfit, which is which is just not interesting to play very often, or there's a disparity in like your skill.
I think it will differ situation to situation and also
Exactly.
person to person.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
I know Drazian at the moment would lean on Geraldine. With like if he is getting to the stage of this is fucked, I don't know what to do, he would probably lean towards Geraldine. Now in a combat scenario, I think because of pure prowess, people would likely
lean towards Drazian.
Would lean in towards Drazian. Just
And then like situations of like convincing deception, I feel like all of us are gonna like turn to Lilith and just wait for her to roll
Yeah.
a nat 20. Like
She's got
again.
+8. She doesn't even need to roll 3 nat 20s.
she does it. She does it.
Was it Lilith had a 27, 28, and like a 27 again last time
It's ridiculous.
during combat? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Her persuasion is unlike any other.
What about you, Kat? Who do you feel would be the leader
Um,
of the group?
I didn't design Geraldine to be the highest int character,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely turned out that like I wanted, like, she did take a sage background, so like I guess I wanted her to be really smart but not actually have it be used until like much later on when she had like more people skills, I
Yeah.
guess. But I feel like how she's sort of interacting with the group now, it's forming a lot more of, she's kind of the voice of reason,
Mm-hmm.
despite being very impulsive and quite a people pleaser streak. She's like starting to come out of a shell a little bit, but I think there's a long way to go on that, especially for like kind of where I want to take her.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in wit decision making and like just pure like what's smart to do right now, I feel like she's kind of been a little bit of a fallback. And then I would say combat wise it goes between Kyler and Drazian.
Yeah, I feel like those two have the most life or death experience.
Yeah.
Kronk has a good amount of like combat savvy, but it has been in professional sport.
Right,
which-
it's not with high stakes.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now, what I will do in a competition is a lot different to what I would do in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to kick anyone in the head when I'm fighting. I'm not like skipping in and going like that, like with my foot. I am just like stamping. I have a question. and it's not what your character's alignment is, but how your character or you yourself feels where other people's alignment lies. Like if your character like kind of knew, like if your character was like, I can put things on the lawful to chaotic, good to evil scale.
Mm-hmm.
Where would your character and where would you feel like every member of the party relies? Not what they actually are.
I don't know what anyone actually is. Which
I don't know what anyone actually is either. I don't even know what Kyler actually is.
Yeah, I don't think I ever decided.
I know what Drazian is. I've known what Drazian is for a long time.
Don't tell us. Just let us like work it out. Don't tell us.
I will tell you, but I don't think there's a single person in the party that's lawful. Straight up,
I don't
not.
think there are any lawful. I think there's a couple like. I think Lilith might be on the neutral side.
I think both Lilith and Drazian are true neutral. That's what I personally think. I think Kyler thinks they're like.
Oh no! I think Lilith is definitely chaotic neutral. Because the way Alaska plays her is the exact way I play chaotic neutral characters.
I think it is true neutral because it doesn't seem to be. She doesn't seem to be concerned with freedom or like breaking societal norms. She's more just like
it's very self-serving,
and not in like a way that's
that's a lot of what
damaging.
chaotic neutral is. It's
that's true.
They're not like it's like personalities in real life. There's no like hard lines, but like I get what you're saying
because it's the whole thing of like you wouldn't like burn down an orphanage. But if people got in your way for like your true motive to get exactly what you want, you would probably kill them, and I feel that about Lilith.
The orphanage.
They kill not just the men, but the women and children too.
But the women and the children too. I slaughtered them like animals because they're animals. I don't like sand.
It's coarse and rough, and it gets and irritating. No, it gets everywhere.
And irritating, and it gets everywhere. It's the pause. It's that exact cadence. Not like here.
Yeah.
Here everything is smooth, soft.
Stop.
You sent him here to kill me.
But yeah, I feel that Lilith is definitely chaotic neutral. I can
see that.
Geraldine's chaotic good.
Yeah, I didn't really design. I think I wanted her to be a little bit more of a troublemaker, but I kind of like.
She's like neutral good to me. I don't even think there's a chaotic element to it.
Oh no, I feel there's definitely an element of chaos there.
I feel like.
She uses daddy's money to buy things, my brother in Christ. So this is a college liberal. There's no way that's chaotic.
I trust fun kid. I think it's going to come out, or at least I wanted it to originally.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted her to be a little bit more of a troublemaker. But I feel like the way she fits in with this group too, I feel like she doesn't really play that role.
Mm-hmm.
So I've shifted around kind of how I want her to operate within the group dynamic, and it did change like some of my like original source material, and she's gonna multi-class as soon as possible, so yeah.
That's interesting. I feel that like some characters their like dynamic with the group will shift in different places. As soon as we get, like, if we ever get to the Odyssey diarchy, or further afield, Drazian's like character dynamic with the rest of the group will dramatically change.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Geraldine and Lilith interact as we learn more of Lilith's character.
If we learn more,
if Alaska shows more, I'm interested to see how two bards who are literally at the polar opposites of each other will play together.
That is going to be interesting.
If at all, honestly, or if we'll end up like clashing.
Yeah, I feel that. Sorry, Cassie, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to move on to Kronk, but carry on.
Yeah, I was actually going to discuss Kronk.
I was going to say
well.
Kronk. I don't know. Like, I feel like Kyler and me to an extent, is the closest we have to classically good. I don't want to say lawful good, but not quite neutral good either. Because he's quite respectful, he's quite humble, he's quite happy to play within the rules. And I feel like with the code of sportsmanship, if you like, as like a sort of moral barometer, like if there is a lawful character in the party, it's Kronk. And this is kind of like the scale of the Overton window, because like the setting will determine where things lie, and like the group dynamic will determine where things lie. So I feel he's closest to that, if not necessarily that in and of itself.
Actually, you know what? Thinking about it, I think Kyler is lawful good, because Kyler plays within his own code of ethics.
That is true.
That's completely outside of what we understand.
It's completely what's outside of what we understand, but by definition, that is a lawful character who deals in their own code of ethics and sticks to their moral code very strictly.
He does.
And he is definitely a good aligned character.
However, he is perceived as chaotic because his world is so fucking bonkers. In the same way that this Dren fellow is perceived as evil because of misconception. But no, I think he is. He's definitely good aligned. He wants to do the right thing. And it generally succeeds, except in matters of tact. I think that's fair to say.
I think a lot of people's perception of Jurazian and where Jurazian's alignment sits could potentially dramatically shift if or slash when people learn a certain thing in relation to him.
Oh. He's a
Is
cannibal.
It something I already know?
Well, to be fair, we all already know.
Okay.
if it's that thing, we all already know. So
the whole like
dragging these nuts across his face.
It's not the dragon thing directly, but it's something that's kind of linked with that, because
okay.
Did he kidnap it? Dragon napped.
Kat,
dragon napped. I will dragon nap before anyone else.
Kat, you remember when there was the discussion between Geraldine and Drazian about the books,
the biggest plot point we've had so far.
Yeah, and basically you ask more. I can't remember what it was exactly you asked, but you asked more details about the books, and Drazian didn't give you more detail. It was like, I don't know you well enough yet.
Yeah, but the thing is I can read them though.
You glanced at the covers. You didn't get to read.
No, because when we went back up into all the rooms, did I not have a chance to actually read them before I gave them back?
You didn't say you did, and like there wasn't really, because you didn't. You gave them back before you went to sleep.
No, because I was gonna say, because we had the bar scene, and then I immediately got pulled up after the rainbow fiasco.
Yeah. So yeah, no, you did not read them.
Damn, I really meant to do that.
Yeah, in all seriousness, you probably wouldn't have had time to like get to the nitty gritty information, because this would be like spending this would be spending a good couple of hours.
Because it's like 3 books. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I really did mean to do that.
Yeah, because there's one like big detail that like. I think people would have serious questions in relation to Drazian and looking at those books, and you can kind of see it in the magic that he uses as well, because he does use necrotic magic.
Right, and I mean I sort of have some thoughts about what I'm kind of hoping you're doing, but it's not something I'm gonna air out to the universe.
Ask me, and I'll.
The desperate way I want you to be in Legion with like a Dracolich so badly. Like that is what I want the source of your power to be so badly.
No,
I just think that could be so cool.
Drazian is affiliated with a draconic power, shall we say?
A Dracolich.
No, it's not a Dracolich. It's.
But why not? Why not?
Because it just isn't. Like it's.
I want it to be.
But because it's kind of bigger and better than that, essentially. No,
It's
Well, a
Tiamat.
lot of promises.
it's not where the source of his power comes from, because the source of his power is the connection with the dragon egg.
Right.
It is the whole like, you don't choose the dragon chooses you, and that's the source. That is the source of Drazian's power. Is our little dragon friend.
What is her name? Azuria?
Yeah.
Is that her name? Azuria?
My brother and Jesus Crustacean. You spent the whole time with her. How'd you not know her name? I could have told you that. Like, and you guys take notes. You guys write shit down. I just forget stuff.
I don't
like a cool
anymore.
person. Like,
I go back and like clip the episodes, so I watch them in full probably twice. So I don't
Damn.
even take notes at this point.
Yeah, I need to start clipping the episodes after episode 1.
I do make a note of like how far into the session we are. If there's something I want to make sure I go back and clip, otherwise I'll
Yeah.
just like run through it. If I hear something I laugh at, and I'm like, oh, I should probably clip that.
Yeah.
And generally it's Kyler going, well, you know what they say. And I'm like, oh god, let me run back to my computer from whatever I'm doing and clip something.
as the good book says.
Yeah, the good book.
Honestly, the more clips the better, because then I can upload them to TikTok. Which
I have, yeah, I was
which
gonna say, I haven't-
on that segue,
sorry. No, as the good book says, Kyler starring in the fucking musical Fiddler on the Reef.
I played Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish. Can we have a Fiddler on the Roof in please? Thank
I've just had a thought.
Go on.
What if Malort is in league with?
What if Malor's an aspect of Malor? Like, he's just an aspect of him. He's the many-faced and no-faced devourer, you know?
The unseen.
Maybe he just is pretending to be a cat to fuck with people.
Or a spider.
Spider.
I hardly know her.
Oh mama. Oh mama. Oh, you have a D&D TikTok command now.
Yes, I do.
If I were a fish man.
If I were a fish man. Yeah.
I also have a YouTube command as well. So that
Ooh.
will link to the YouTube where the first 3 episodes plus the first the double bill of Tabletalk Tuesday from not last week but the week
Fun.
before is up there as well. So if people have missed that content, definitely do go and check that out. I did want to get a bit of a discussion going about where we all are. Well, basically how both in and out of how both in and out of character we felt about the last 2 sessions, because obviously. Geraldine, there were some big revelations for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say one was hefty and one was fluff.
Yeah,
it was so different.
So this hefty session with fully confirming Drazian's secret, him opening up to you a little bit, and you can see there's that little bit of trust. You can say he's still a bit guarded with you.
It's apprehensive, absolutely.
It's apprehensive.
Like a deer.
I mean, it sort of was, we had to get to know him at some point, so it was sort of a matter of time, and I don't necessarily know that it would have been Geraldine if me, out of character, hadn't done so much research into how,
Metagame! Okay.
Yeah, exactly, if I, didn't know so much about how Dragon Riders and Drake Wardens worked within D&D, so I was picking up on, plot points of that I recognized.
Well, see, here's
so I'm
the
not
thing.
really sure.
Here's the thing. There aren't technically Dragon Riders in D&D. This is something I made the fuck up. So
I've spent a lot of time on D&D Dragon Reddit. All right.
Yeah.
You're not the first homebrew Dragon Rider.
Yeah. I based mine almost directly off of fucking Aragon. Which
is so cool.
That is where the big
cool.
inspiration from it came from, and also there was a homebrew D&D class I seen years ago. It was called a Pendragon, and it was your magic is very much based on the type of dragon that you have. So for instance, if you have a chromatic blue dragon, it's lightning and necrotic damage.
Lightning and arc, yeah.
If you have a metallic, I think it's bronze dragon, it's healing magic and lightning damage. So it's like
Very tied to
the
the animal itself.
Yeah, it was very very tied to that, and I like basically elaborated on that concept. So basically, although like the Dragon Rider class that I've created is baseline a sorcerer, I have it that Drazian can't learn any like fire spells or water spells or poison spells or stuff like that. His magic, anything that's outside of like that elemental or like holy / necrotic table, he can learn if it's a sorcerer spell. But anything that's within that table of like, be it like fire, water, lightning, poison, acid, frost, the only types that he can learn are necrotic and lightning in relation to that.
Gotcha.
So that's where that's where essentially that whole concept came from. Now obviously
So-
you'd played like a Drake Warden a bit, so you have, like,
Yeah.
you were
So I feel
familiar
like
with
I
some
kind of have.
aspects.
So that kind of like I wanted to ask you about this. It doesn't have to be on stream, but like, are we at the point now that we have Azuria? Is she? Does she have like an initiative of her own, or does she have to like mature beforehand? Like, are we
She-
leveling her? Like, how are we handling that?
She has to mature beforehand. So basically, how the whole like Dusagairi works is your dragon grows not through years as like a standard dragon would, but through the strength of your bond. So the stronger your bond gets,
Like Pokemon.
yeah, essentially. So as you level up, your dragon will progress
experience
from
and things like that.
from a wormling to there's eventually like
Yeah, there's like a small, medium, and large size.
yeah, and like the large size, which I believe it's a young dragon, or it's whatever one is before ancient.
Yeah, young.
Is when
That's when you can start mounted.
yeah,
combat.
that's when I can start mounted combat and like be like a fully fledged dragon rider.
That's so exciting.
Yes, exactly.
So-
Fargo Mega Evolve that dragon.
So you are technically multi-classing as your singular homebrewed class. Is that how we're sort of looking at it? Like,
It's one class
It's one class. So
with 20 levels, so no.
It's one class with 20 levels, so it's not multi-classing at all.
Really?
It's one of those classes that I feel, and this is exactly how I feel when I like played a Hexblade Warlock as well. Multi-classing would diminish how good the class is. I feel
Yeah.
that multi-classing only works with certain classes. So, for instance, like
Right.
Dren, who I was talking about earlier, is a multi-class. It's Oathbreaker Paladin, but it's also Berserker Barbarian. So like stuff like that like works really really well together.
yeah, as long as there's like an in tandem
Yeah,
kind of thing between the two.
yeah.
That's
it
sort
has
of-
to complement it a lot, and I feel that nothing really would complement this. It's just one of those ones that the
Interesting.
way I've designed it, it works better as a singular class.
Interesting. I guess I've been thinking of it as like your base class is like sorcerer aligned,
Well,
and then like anything off is like considered a multi-class.
well, no, but it's a subclass. It is technically a
Okay.
subclass of sorcerer, but
That's
it
what I
is,
hate
okay.
about
but,
5e.
but it is a whole class of its own.
I hate how little classes there are in
I'm
5e.
D&D baby.
D&D 5e. I'm gonna rage. D&D 5e. Yeah, there's like 9 classes, and one of them's designed by like the Critical Role cast. Like that's it, and then you have to subclass them all. Fuck you. I want to make my own class.
Well, see, I think that's what I like about D&D Beyond and the homebrew. Like,
Yeah.
I think it works the fact that you can't homebrew a full class, but it has to be a subclass of one of the base ones.
I
Because
don't like that, but like that's just me. I don't like that.
No, that's fair.
I cut my teeth on like 3.5 and 4, so like where things were ludicrous, and I liked them being ludicrous. If you're gonna make a hack and slash system, which D&D fundamentally is,
Yeah.
fucking let people go nuts a bit.
See,
Like-
I think Pathfinder takes it too far. Like,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I think Pathfinder isn't very beginner friendly, and like one thing I love about D&D is getting new people into it. I love like getting more people into this game that like I love so much. It's my favorite like thing to do in the entire fucking world is play.
That's
D&D.
how I found you on Twitter.
Yeah, it is because I remember.
That's how we started talking.
Yeah, that's
because
how we
I
started
just
talking.
started playing.
Yeah, and you had like posted about like D&D overlays and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is what we do, and I was like, I've just kind of stopped the campaign that I was like currently doing. This was the point where I was really burnt out of DMing, because I got like really hyper burnt out with my last campaign. It was not a vibe at all. And then it was at like Muxlow and me had, and like Alaska, Chris, and Cass, we'd all been talking about doing this campaign for like since before Christmas. This was about like I think it was like October time.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, it had been in the works for ages, but just with like everyone's schedules and everything, it hadn't lined up until then. There was just like different people had a lot on, and it was just ended up being a case of right, this isn't going to happen until a little while. It's going to take some time for this to unfold. But timing worked really, really well because like shortly before we were going to start, you were like right there and like basically ready to jump in, and it's
yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
I said this to Cass earlier. I think everyone adds like their own dimension to it. I like went on for about 20 minutes about how I love Kyler and how he adds such an extra dimension.
I stream on while I was getting ready.
I think Geraldine does that in ways too, and I think how she's starting to unlock Drazian as a character and like that whole bounce off that's taken place between them is really, really interesting. How is Geraldine like feeling about the whole dragon situation?
I think ever since so that was episode 3 that we had like that like heart to heart, we saw a lot more of your character. I think introducing Kaylin to the whole mix and the idea that I'm going to be able to introduce you to like my extended family, that could perhaps, that is also going to take us to the Feywilds, where I have a lot of close family, and I think that is where you specifically are going to learn a lot of Geraldine's backstory. So I don't know when in sequence that's going to happen, but like that's where a lot more of her lore, I guess, is sort of going to be revealed, and you're going to meet her family. I've written out pages about this now. Like I've never played D&D characters where I've actually like decided where I wanted this to go. But I feel like ours is like a give and take of trauma dumping at this point, where like between Drazian and Geraldine, like there's something traumatic happening, and we don't have people to go to about it. And so the first person to like offer a semblance of trust, like it just all comes pouring out, and I feel like that's how our characters are starting to mesh.
It reminds me of like in Castlevania, like in season 2, where it's like it just surprises me that I had more of a childhood than you did. Yeah, and your dad was fucking Dracula.
I mean,
literally.
It might be like that. And actually, this is something I'm gonna have to talk to Mux about a lot, because I think it's gonna sort of change the scope of how Geraldine operates in the group quite a bit. But she still has a lot of like interpersonal things to kind of move through, and as soon as those are out in the open, I think her character is going to be kind of like fully revealed. So I'm very excited for that.
Me too. I'm very excited to see how that unfolds. It's kind of
and I'm excited for you to meet Kaylin. She's
yes,
such a bitch.
Amazing.
Kaylin is my other character that I play in a different campaign. That's a Drake Warden Ranger. And she's
hardly
a Spitfire, 15-year-old she's a wood elf. I wanted her to be a half elf, but she's a wood elf.
Oh, I thought she was a half elf.
I think that's how I originally wrote her, but then we ended up writing in a sister for me in our campaign.
Oh, okay.
So
I think with Drazian, it's kind of going to be on the same kind of lines, but the unraveling or the revelation of his backstory is going to be a lot more slow burn. Because we're not going to get, like, any fucking semblance of it until we leave the continent, until we start exploring, like, one of the 2 other big continents.
School trip vacation arc. Let's go.
Yeah.
Beach
I mean,
episodes?
that's sort of the thing, is one of the things I have thought a lot about is if all of our missions that we're going on, like, as a group, like, what we are, like, contracts we're entering into and stuff, that's all been sponsored. Like, that's our modes of transportation well sponsored. What do we have for personal mission? Like, is there anything we have about, like, actually...
I mean, it would
travel?
fuck up your uni, wouldn't it? Like spring break. Like, we could probably go.
Is spring break canon?
Yeah, I mean,
Spring
if
break,
there's a school, there's
woo!
going to be vacation. Yeah, woo! Spring break!
Spring break!
Oh, guys, you gotta come to this party. My buddy, the Triton, Chad Hogan, is having a keg party.
Give me 1 second. I'm getting very warm.
Naked.
Wow.
Ooh, even some nipple? Who are you?
Every stream there's Eli nipples.
On it. Facts.
Yes, facts. Also, hi Kay.
Hi, Kay. Do you know
Chad's in chat?
Do you know Chad Hogan? Everybody knows Chad Hogan, man. He's got a band, man. Woo! Spring break.
Amazing.
So we all went shopping last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did we buy? I bought like 2 forks. And I got a recall. I got a recall enchantment.
What I really want to happen now is Lilith has the get bigger, get smaller spell, and I'm sure there's a proper name for it. I really, really, really want her to be pissed at you for something mid-combat, and she casts it on your forks. Like, I want you to yeet Malort again, and then she decides to be spiteful about it.
I mean, I can't see that
Desperately.
ending well. I can't see that ending well.
That'd be so
I
funny.
mean, she
though.
could. It would be hilarious.
Cast funny, but
It is funny, but like I have to take into account the fact that like that's a religious symbol you've just desecrated at that point.
yeah, funny,
Which
Well,
but
she just made it smaller.
Which means a throat stomping's a coming.
No, I mean, Lilith can return it to normal size. She's just...
My brother in Christ, have you ever drawn a picture of the Prophet Muhammad?
No.
Well then, there you go.
There's a reason, my dude.
there is a reason. I
Don't
think-
mess with the religious nut jobs. They're fucking
There is
mental.
a lot of other shopping I want to do before we actually go on this mission. There's like 2 things I'm really after.
I
One of
really
them
want
is
that
getting
hunter's coat. I really want it.
I know! I know!
Simp.
I know.
I can't
At
believe you left
some
the
point,
shop
I'm
with
going-
it without buying Dracian it when you bought like Gronk his like fucking cape that was more
It's like
expensive.
7,000. It's like 7,000 gold cape that just had like a cute flourish to it, and
Yeah.
you're just like this great combat gear asset. And I'm like, maybe I'll trade it
betrayal.
for like an hour of Geraldine, an hour of Azuria cuddles or something like that. That sounds like something GB would be motivated by.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Dracian won't ask you because he's too goddamn fucking proud.
Also, we don't even
That's
know.
fair.
We don't even know you have all this money. Like, we don't.
I think the only
Kronk might. I mean, if you spent all that money. And I don't think Kronk's the type to be like, oh,
yeah
he
no
was
because I
sort of
remember
fucking money around.
yeah when we had talked about that, like I think when it was in the bookstore, I had like made comments about how like I'd buy something for him if he like gave me this tiny little like 1 gold trinket. I think it was the fairy actually.
Yeah.
So
Fart fairy.
I forgot I have a fart fairy in my bag. Ow.
No way, it was the lute or there was some kind of
No, it was the
instrument.
automaton, the one that was like the little like music note shaped one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it was. The fairy was someone else's. But and
No, the
then I
fairy
made-
was yours. The fairy
Fairy
was
really?
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kronk got a musical
It was
instrument.
oh,
thing.
and it was then the makeup one. I
Yeah.
think there are a few items. But I don't think I've told anyone the source of that yet.
No.
but the only time you guys have seen that source is when I bought things last episode, but I didn't use any of the 1,000 gold that we got from the school. And then when I was dealing with Azuria stuff and went to go get raw bacon in the middle of a bar, and I just gave Lilith 100 gold pieces and said, "Stay out of trouble."
Yeah.
It is giving white girl adopts a pit bull vibes. I don't know.
What?
Like, I think I've made Eli break a little bit. Hang on. There he is. Oh, white girl adopts a pit bull thing. Like, they've got like this fucking dog that's definitely like eaten 4 kids, and it's like he wears a flower crown now. This is Bruiser.
No, I
he's
don't
a
think
big
Azuria
softy.
could do any wrong in Geraldine's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It's white girl adopts a pit bull vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
excited.
what it is.
Are you designing a character for Azuria too, or is she just sort of going to be an extension? Like, I mean, if we go, well, like when she meets other dragons, like, do you have an idea of how you want that to go down?
Yeah,
Dragon.
Okay.
I do.
I'm so
Dragon.
excited. Because I believe Kaylin's dragon is acid. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure it's acid or poison.
She's chasing the dragon on acid.
Important
Honestly,
question.
you and Kronk, hello?
Important question: is it a metallic or chromatic dragon?
Dragons have beef, man. It's like a little post-Cold War.
I think the way it works for, or at least for Kaylin's character, is that it's like it can be like summoned, so it's not actually like a living entity of its own. It's like conjured out of my adrenaline, is how it's sort of built.
Are you playing like fucking Hanzo from Overwatch?
You go, Wagateki Wokuda.
I'll have to fully introduce you to that storyline before we go meet her.
Yeah, but because that is a very important question. Is the dragon chromatic or metallic? Because that will make things interesting.
I'll fully introduce you to her.
Just
It'll be interesting.
Slight sidebar. I just Overwatch is such a mess because like everything is kind of grounded in sci-fi, and then there's these 2 brothers that can just straight up conjure dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Ryuji no Kanyokoi. Who are in the Japanese fucking mafia, or who at least were in the
Yakuza, yeah.
Who were like canonic members of the Yakuza.
Yeah. It's mental. And Cole Cassidy has 3 canon ages as well, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've like gone over like how Geraldine feels about the whole like dragon thing. Now, something I noticed as well in the last episode was when Drazian like mentioned like Avum Steel and stuff. You were getting like all suspicious and shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we're out of character. We can discuss this. What this Geraldine thing is going on?
Yeah, you're the metagamer here, though.
Yeah.
No, okay, not this far, but I mean, I have what I feel like. You good?
What of it?
You alright?
What of it?
What of what?
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, it's like that kid in school who's like pretending to flick the pen, and then flicks
and then all of a sudden it flies across the room.
Flies across the room and hits the teacher in the fucking face.
It's always like that.
I have ADHD. That's what I'm tell you.
I mean, I feel like part of what you'll come to learn is that she does have the sage background, so she's extremely well read, and I try to play her in a way that she will know things, but I have to be told what they are, kind of out of character. But I like the idea that she can sort of pick up on things before it's ever explained, as sort of a catalyst of storytelling, which is why I like the sage feat so much, or background.
Mm-hmm.
I just, whenever I hear someone ask about like specific metals or specific materials, my immediate mind goes to like, what is this strong against, or what is this predominantly used for in like a protection area. And so specifically asking about steel with a impending lightning dragon.
Well,
There's
see,
just
Avum Steel has
some
nothing to
questions.
Avum Steel has nothing to do with lightning. Like what was specifically said was that it's rare and you can't really get it anymore. And like the shopkeeper was like, "Yeah, since the incident."
Yeah. And oh, that I thought that was with the weapon you wanted.
No, no,
Or
no.
that is with the weapon.
Yeah, it's with the weapon. So it's with Drazian's sword that he currently has. That's
What it
that's getting
was.
reinforced. And like he
Right.
makes a specific comment that it's made out of Avum Steel. And Geraldine started giving him the side eye at that point, and I'm like,
That might have just been out of character, just looking at you.
yeah.
I mean, you never know.
But
You did
yeah,
have your shirt off at one point.
I did what now?
Not you.
I would never.
no, I had my shirt off at one point.
Oh, I know. Yeah, were you fully dressed when I was in my kaleidoscope moment talking about dragons? Or
What?
also, are we ever gonna find out about what the Kami Flamingo adventure was? Like, do we get
Yes.
to
No.
know that?
No.
Like, that's
I
it.
don't-
That was just.
I
the
don't
full
know. Kronk doesn't know. We were the only ones there.
See,
Do you have anything
running
else?
through the
I have a
street.
theory. I have a theory. You know the two names that were like written on that like bottle?
Yeah.
It's Kronk and Kyler's drag name. Because the names were slightly similar. One of them began with a
That's
C,
how the
one of
same
them began with a
initials,
K.
Max, confirm or deny these allegations.
It's their fucking drag names.
I love, but see, them creating drag personas means there's a drag bar in LA, and we
I
need
mean,
to go.
if I was coming up with a drag name for Kyler, it would have to be an aquatic pun. And
Yeah.
The first one that came to mind was like Tuna Turner.
I am not, nor have I ever been, a member of the drag community. Also, thank you for the hydrate, Christopher.
Um,
Oh my god. Crying. I really want to know what that was gonna be. But maybe we'll see it again resurfaced at another point.
It was absolutely a drag scene. They went to
I
a
hope
drag
so.
bar. They went to
I
this kind of
absolutely
like
hope
magic drag bar and got covered with like pink gooey stuff and fucking feathers.
No,
What
that
about-
would be fucking hilarious.
Cather Finn Zeta? I don't know. I'm thinking
Uh,
of more drag names now.
See,
Tuna Turner? Are you kidding me?
Tuna Turner, that's the one. That is absolutely the one.
Incredible.
Like, it's genuinely so good.
I don't know. What else was there? I mean, I feel like no. I want there to be a reason, like a good, like a feel-good reason. Geraldine finally explains how she has like unlimited money. Because sort of what Mux and I had talked about was, rather than like, there's not really a construct of a credit card, but it's sort of like a bag of holding pouch like thing that's just connected to my parents' vault. Is how that's sort of functioning. Since it was like, honestly, it was just way too much to keep track of inventory wise.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they made the comment of, I had taken out a pouch that wasn't the 1,000 gold that we were given, and I'm hoping that 1,000 gold might get us like a house or something.
I kind of want to join the frat. I'm not gonna lie.
You would.
Of course
You
Well,
would.
Kyler's a legacy frat boy. That's what I hate. He is. He's the wholesome frat boy, but he's a frat boy nonetheless.
Good old himbos.
See, Drazian like originally comes from a wealthy background, like originally, but has very much no longer access to that background or those privileges because that line of wealth has been not, I don't want to say deceased, but no longer what it was.
Right.
And is like went from like living in very well off life to like basically like sleeping on a boat for ages, and then I think something's got your dog very excited.
It's literally the great outdoors in Manhattan. I couldn't tell you. He likes to perch on the windowsill and just bark.
Well, you know what he's saying though? He's going, ruff, ruff. Oh boy, there ain't no town like New York. Ruff, ruff. The city that never sleeps. The streets are paved with gold in New York. Ruff, ruff.
We're all a great big part of it.
New York.
Honestly,
New
it's only a
York.
matter of time before he like busts out in Newsies.
If it was a duo act for Kronk and Kyler, could it be Mary Kate and Ashley Ocean?
'Cass, you are way too witty for your own good.
3 years at drama school, by the way. That's what this gets you.
You Bork.
Oh my god, Mary Kate and Ashley Ocean.
You
Who's who? I feel like Kronk's Mary Kate.
Yeah, Kyler's Ashley. He's a bit bitchier.
Kyler gives me Ashley vibes. Coda! Why?
Ruff! Use guys! Better get down to the Locks and Bagel Shop. Ruff!
Why do you make him sound like that?
Because he's a New York dog.
A New York. Idiot. Okay.
but yeah.
I'm gonna need to head off because I have to go to a concert.
Okay. Well, have fun at the concert. We'll probably stay on for a little bit more before, and then we'll probably finish up as well.
Should we go to an hour and a half? Wrap up in 10?
Yeah, I think we can wrap up in 10. No, what we're saying is like, Drazen kind of went from that like kind of well off thing to like essentially sleeping on a boat for fucking ages, and then like going into a city that's in a kind of in the middle of a civil war, and is like
Belfast?
Oh!
Sorry, continue.
there's more on that. There's more on that.
Well,
and funnily enough, the reason he left the original city was due to war as well. So he's kind of gone from like being well off and then hit with war to like leaving there because of the war and ending up in another kind of almost wartime place. And like there was kind of reference to it when Drazian was speaking to the elephant guy, the Luxon, who said that he was from the Udisa diarchy, and like Drazian made reference that he just got here from Azure City, and like that's when Kyler said to him, "Oh, is that where you're from?" And Drazian was like, kind of, not really.
sort of.
It was his last residence, but not where he's originally from. So there's
He's
like
sneaky.
so there's this kind of like thing where like Drazian's not got the like standing or social standing that he would have had like previously, and like some things like his the markings on his sword or like the markings on his coat would like be recognizable to a very select few, but only a very select few, because it comes from a place that is like Drazian's origin, like his place of origin is not incredibly well known. it's really just well known for this incident that's occurred. So like people wouldn't necessarily recognize the iconography or anything. So it's like he's more not overly trying to keep a low profile, but at the same time doesn't want to draw too much attention to himself, and is very much doesn't really associate himself with that kind of wealthy background anymore.
Interesting. So is the event that you're referencing like pop culture knowledge, or is it too niche for that?
No, it's oh, you mean in game as a pop culture or
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have
It'd be like world events.
It would be a world event, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But the what actually happened in that event would have been, there's a lot of like potential propaganda from a certain group surrounding that. So but a lot of people don't really believe that because of the history of this group that's spreading this propaganda that was involved in this conflict. So like a lot of people know that something kind of fucking dodgy happened there. So it's like it's one of those where it's like people are like unsure of all the facts, but know that like it was like a very major incident that caused like a lot of death and destruction.
Interesting.
Is there anything we would like to discuss for the last 7 minutes? Is there any topics burning on anyone's mind?
So
this is your last chance out. No, I'm kidding.
So did you fuck Kronk?
Don't think so.
You have no idea.
If we did,
Who topped?
there was no evidence. I don't know. Neither of us were purported in feeling difficulty walking, so I'm gonna assume probably not.
I think Kronk is a power bottom, to be honest.
Facts. Hard facts.
Okay, actually, do you know what we should talk about for like the last couple of minutes before Kat leaves?
Okay, go on.
Pronunciation of car names.
Hyundai.
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 It's Hyundai.
No.
Or
No,
Hyundai.
No. Hyundai.
I think you just bastardized these names.
Okay.
Like I said.
And then Nissans.
It's a Nissan.
It's a Nissan.
It's a Nissan.
What are you? What kind of fucking kawaii girl are you? Oh, Nissan. What are you doing in my room, Nissan?
It's called a Nissan. I would never have known if you guys hadn't commented on it.
Yeah.
It's a Nissan. It's a Hyundai.
It's a Nissan and a Hyundai.
No.
What do you?
Do you guys have Hondas?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
that's
Honda. That's just
Congratulations! Not even Americans could fuck up that one.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually say Honda. Actually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Honda.
There is like a couple of French cars. One of them begins with a C. One of them begins with a P. Do you know how they're pronounced?
One begins with an R as well.
Oh yeah. There's an R as well.
Can you spell it?
So there's CITROEN.
I don't know if that's a type of car.
I mean, it is.
Oh, like I don't know what type of car that is.
Hold on.
Here, well, I'll put them in chat.
I'll
I'll take them out.
Yeah, type them out in chat.
What else? What else, my Martin, Eli? Well, you said another one.
It's hold on. Yeah, Citroen is CITROEN.
I've never heard of that, so.
Peugeot is the one that I was referencing. Not
I've never
Porsche,
heard of that either.
Because
Peugeot, right?
Because Porsche is German.
People do say Porsche here. You don't. People
It's
here
a
don't pronounce
Porsche.
the-
It's a
Oh,
Porsche.
I know that. I took German. I know that, but people here say
So you
it's a
can
Porsche.
say Volkswagen.
No,
Uh,
it's a no.
No, no, it's
oh,
not. No.
and then the other one is.
You just said Hyundai. Fuck off! Don't get high and mighty. Like
I'm not high and mighty. Sassy.
I am sassy. You gotta
And
deal
then
with it.
the other one is this.
Where'd you put it? D&D?
It's not.
No,
it's
wait,
not
it's in Twitch chat.
Oh, I don't know what that one is either. A Jaguar?
That's a jaguar, you uncultured swine.
I mean, we would just say Jaguar, but
Well,
like
there's
it's
a U
only
in there.
two. No, it's Jaguar.
Jaguar.
I
No,
hardly know her.
it's a Jaguar.
Jaguar.
And the
Yeah.
one,
I know Americans take the U's out of things a lot. There is a U in that word.
No, that's Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah, like
the one
car.
above that is pronounced Renault, but you Americans would probably pronounce it Renault.
Renault.
Yeah, probably. I don't really know many cars anyway, so I might not be the best baseline. Chris might be a better person to ask.
Never gonna forget when an American was like, "Hey, buddy, are you actually Scots?" And I was like, "Yes." And I felt like saying "I," but I was worried that confused him. He went, "Wow, your English is really good." I was like, or a time I was on a plane with my brother and we were talking, like we're talking like now, like if I went right, so if I do a proper accent, top promo, I was talking this to my brother, and then a woman turns around and goes, "What language are you guys speaking?" And we went, "English." She went, "No." It's like, are you?
Yes.
Are you? Eh.
I mean, I have noticed, especially when like I immediately like come into the chat when it's just like you, Eli, and Mux in here or something, all of you start dropping your consonants immediately, and everything sort of slurs. Or maybe it's not dropping consonants; it's just a lot more rolled together.
Mm.
So it's much harder to actually discern what words you're saying.
It's
because
not
we
as
don't hear.
enunciated.
Yeah,
We are-
I
we
guess
are,
it's the
like-
enunciation.
Yeah, because we do enunciate more when we're talking to Americans. Because like you know how many times
Because
we've
you're
got
too
the
stupid to understand.
I don't get it. Like,
Yes, I am.
that's the thing. Right? I've never had a problem understanding anyone's accent,
Yeah.
except like in the like. No, in fact, even like I can work it out. Like if they're like from India or from Cork or two like, very different ends of the world there. But like when they do an accent, I can like get it. It might take me
Yeah.
a second, but then the people, it's only ever as a Scottish or an Irish person I've ever heard them go, "Oh, I can't understand what you're saying, mate. Can you slow down a minute?" I'm like, fuck off.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't find any of y'all's accents particularly difficult. It's when y'all are only talking to each other, every bit of your speech gets relaxed.
Oh, you should
And so-
hear me when I'm talking to my dad.
Or
Because
when you're pissed.
yeah.
I mean, it's also like really endearing. Like I might not understand, but
but
it's cute.
especially
Also, that's
when
an Audi.
Oh, you can pronounce that one. Okay, cool.
It's only 2 syllables, Eli. Don't get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, I really need to leave. I love you guys.
Shall we pay a visit to Teotau?
Yeah, we can pay a wee visit to Teo.
GK Teotau Red.
We love to see it. Goodbye, my loves.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
We love you.
Make your choices. Bye,
Never.
chat.
Bye, chat.
I am gonna read out now. To
What if I just did this for like an
Teo
entire
Tao
session? Teotau. Oh, it's actually dying, man.
is actually.
Oh, we're playing
done.
Animal Crossing: The Horizons. It's so good. Gonna play my next character. He's gonna be like a Nord. He's gonna be a generic white run guard.
Just
gonna
please,
be a
please
human-
make a Teo. Please make a Teo.
Human fighter, Teo, son of Tao.
Yes.
He talks like this. We go to Valhalla.
Here we go to Valhalla.
We go to South and Guard. Let
we
me
go.
guess.
We have rated out.
That make sure you end your stream.
Don't worry, I'm not.
Tio's been
caged.
streaming for